Good morning. Actually, it's afternoon. Good afternoon. It's April 6th. Still hanging out here in Montana. So, beautiful day. Sun all of a sudden came out. The big melt is underway. From here, water dripping in the background. It's melting pretty quick here today. Getting lots of solar power, so that's good. Things are shaping up. It's going to be really nice weather this week, so hopefully I can get out and get a bunch more video of some of the countryside here. Maybe take the ATV out for another ride in a different direction. See what we can do. So today I'm going to give the tour of the cabin. I've had a few people wondering when they're going to get to see inside, so I'm going to give you a tour. That's it in the background, obviously. So let's go inside. I'll show you. There's not much to see. It's pretty small, but I'll show you what's going on. Okay, let's take a tour inside. I started this whole process early this morning, and I did all the inside segment, went through everything, and then when I went to review the video this evening, I realized I had the camera oriented wrong. I had it vertical instead of horizontal. So I'm going to attempt to do this all over again. So this is inside our little cabin. I think I mentioned earlier it's 12 feet by 12 feet inside. Started off life as a shed, actually a tool shed. So, just very cozy. Got some shelves for storage and TV, a few dressers. Did the tall wall, feature wall in cedar. The rest of the wood you see is pine. And we've got our wood stove, kind of the central feature, I guess. This is a cubic mini grizzly model. It's approximately 12 by 12 by 12 inches, very small. Supposedly rated at 8,000 BTU. I'd say that's probably pretty accurate. It works great. It's a full airtight wood stove. In other words, it has control over combustion as well as secondary combustion. It throws out a lot of heat. It'll cook us out in here. I just lit it a few minutes ago. It hasn't been going all day, so currently our temperatures, this one is upstairs is 72 degrees, downstairs is 68 Fahrenheit, obviously. I should have a little chart that I hold when I do these so I can convert back and forth, because I use the two interchangeably, and I know we have people out there that use one or the other and don't know a thing about the other one. So anyway, just bucket full of kindling and wood, and we've got my ash bucket down there. I've got a little gardening shovel that I clean the ash out every morning. First thing, get up, take a couple of scoopfuls out, and start a fire. So the other thing in here is the direct vent propane heater. Talk more about that in a minute. Just did a laminate floor because it wears well. So the ladder to the top. Let's take a quick peek up there. So this is just our sleeping quarters. Again, because the loft extends out over the deck, this gives us a 12 by 12 loft as well, or just about. So we've got some hangers up here. I'm gonna a bunch of work to do up here. I want to make some more hangers, some more storage. I gotta get some better lighting up here, but it all works well. It's comfortable. It's very toasty warm up here. We do have a ceiling fan and light here. Let's come back down. So one of the things, let me just go back around. So one of the things that I've changed in here since we've been down this trip is, because propane is a finite resource for us this trip, and I found we were going through propane quicker than I would have liked. We do run the wood stove for primary source of heat, but because it's so small, you won't get a burn all through the night. I mean, if we crank the heat up here, quite often it's in the low 80s when we go to bed. And then somewhere in the middle of the night, I crawl under the covers, and then sometime later in the morning, it gets cool in here. The plan originally, what it was the thermostat. If you see beside me here, the thermostat is on the wall right beside the wood stove. And the idea there is, as the wood stove cools off through the night, then all of a sudden the thermostat will then cool off with the wood stove, and when it gets cold enough, it'll kick in the furnace. And that all works perfectly fine. The problem is we're toasty warm up there without the furnace, and we were burning propane for a bunch of the night that we didn't need to. So if I just turn the furnace off at night, then it gets pretty chilly. The other morning in here when we got up, I came downstairs and it read 43 degrees Fahrenheit in here. I'm not sure what that is in Celsius. It's cold. Anyway, so it's like, okay, it's got to be a better solution. So here's what I did. I'm just going to switch the view here. So what I did was I found this little switch online. It's down there. You see that little white block with the light on it. So that is a Wi-Fi switch. All I did was wire it into the thermostat wires right here. I just put it in series or in line with one of the wires. So it's now hooked up to the thermostat. Well, that's a Wi-Fi switch that I can control from my smartphone. So I can also have a timer on that and a schedule. So what I do now is I set the schedule for that Wi-Fi switch to come on early in the morning, say 7 o'clock, and then when we wake up, it's warmed up in here nice. We keep it set at, we're just looking at the thermostat, it's about 68 degrees, so say 19 degrees Celsius or so. So then by the time we wake up, the furnace has kicked in and warmed it up a little bit. It's not too bad. Saves us a lot of propane that way. It worked really well. And that allows me to control it any time from my cell phone as well. If I decide it's a nicer day and it's getting warm or whatever, I can turn it off. I'm going to try to put in a little clip here of how this app works. All right, this is the app here called Link. It brings up all the different devices I've hooked up. There's the cabin heater. There's our fireplace back in Calgary. I've put one of these switches on it so that I can control our gas fireplace from the couch instead of having to get up and work the switch. Or if it's really cold in the winter, you're laying in bed in the bedroom and you wake up early in the morning and you think, man, it is cold in this house, because keep temperature cooler at night. I can say, I can use this to turn on the fireplace in the family room for when we go down. And this is the 4-switch bank I have in the mechanical room that I pointed out the other day in the mechanical room tour. This has a thermostat button. That's one that switches in the auxiliary thermostats that I use to control the heat from Calgary. Right now we're running on that auxiliary thermostat, so it's on. Next is the bypass switch. That's a timer I have installed in the system that controls all my Wi-Fi, my router, my modem. Everything is controlled through a timer and a contact. So in the winter time, I only turn on everything for 1 hour a day. It saves me a huge amount of power every day when I have very little solar. So I can go in, it comes on at noon and shuts off at 1 o'clock. If I want to keep it on, then I click the bypass button. That bypasses the timer and keeps everything on full time. So that's the mode we're in right now. Magnum is just it's a switch that's controlled to the power for my Magnum inverter communications, so that cycles the power on it if I need to, because sometimes it gets hung up and needs to be cycled. And then I have a generator button which allows me to start and stop my generator. I can do that from Calgary too if I want to charge batteries or exercise the generator, something like that. Then I can do that. Oops. So when you click on that, you can also go in and set timers. Say, there you go. I could set the generator to come on, only once, turn off, and I could set it for, I got to set it as a 40-minute run time. So that's kind of handy too. Say, sometimes if I don't want the generator running in the middle of the night, especially in the winter if it's cold, we're using lots of power, no solar at night, then sometimes when we go to bed, I'll just set a timer to run the generator for an hour and shut off. That way I know it's not going to come on at 3 in the morning or something, which is a pain. We can't hear it.
So same with the cabin heaters. This is the one I was talking about. If I go close, sorry, if I hit schedule, then there are. It has it to come on every day at 7 o'clock and turn off at 9 o'clock. So that's when the cabin heater comes on. That's pretty handy. So anyway, that's the way that works in a nutshell. Oops, back to the video.
So that worked out really well. I would like to convert this direct vent wall heater to work the same as the one in the mechanical room with a burner management system on it, so that I can start it from Calgary before we come down. That would be really nice. It's a more complicated gas valve setup, and I'm going to have to do a little bit of thinking and MacGyvering to tap into the gas lines and the main burner on it. So I have to, and of course, it might be a good idea to make sure it's safe. So we'll work on that a bit. That's probably not going to happen this certainly not this trip. Maybe not this year. Let's see, what else do we have to talk about? One second. So yes, as I mentioned, this started off life as a shed. And as a result, I wish we had planned better and started it off as a cabin. We should have just started from scratch, left this as a shed and built a cabin. The floor, because it was a shed, is not insulated. So it gets quite cool in the winter. The fan up there that we installed, I don't have it on right now, but that helps circulate the air, and it definitely helps warm the floor up. But something that I'm planning on doing is raising the cabin up to the same height as the mechanical room, and then I can insulate the floor at the same time. So that's about it for the tour of the cabin. There's not a whole lot to see here. If I do some little projects in here over the next little bit, I'll try to see if I can make a recording of those. Make a little project video maybe. One of the things I would like to do is build some wood storage, built-in wood storage under the wood stove. And I'm just going to go look over here for a second. So under the wood stove there, and then if we look down along there, I'd like to build a small shelf with storage unit with some shelves that we can put shoes on and gloves and things like that. Get some stuff off the windowsills. You know, they're always a collecting spot. So we'll see how that goes. And other than that, I think that's about it. So later, stay safe.